All right, we are officially live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Breakfast with Boom. And my goodness, I am still reeling from last night's Game Awards. Of course, it is probably going to be basically all that we talk about. Now, if you know me and you've been listening to this channel for a while, I have 7 pages of show notes that were written prior to the Game Awards that are completely either going to be used on Monday night's primetime gaming or not used at all. That's what happens when you write in advance. Sometimes you spend hours writing and you just don't get a chance to use it because of circumstance. And the circumstance was, wow. I have to say this publicly before I get into the intros. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, I had a difference of opinion with Geoff Keighley. I was very public about that opinion. I still stand strong to my belief of what I said, but I am going to publicly say that Geoff Keighley, I don't think you're going to be listening to this show. I don't even think you know who I am, but I do have to give you the biggest pat on the back. That show that you put on last night was probably not only my personal favorite in the entire history of the show. I think that everything about last night's show proved that you are the guy to lead the Game Awards moving forward. And like I said, I have no problem admitting where if I'm wrong, I'm the first guy to step up and say I'm wrong. And I am going to say that the way that it played out proved to me that the Game Awards integrity was certainly much more important to Geoff than the friendship that originally I thought was going to get in the way. And I don't consider myself a big man for doing this, because what's right is right. And certainly what's wrong is wrong. And I just have to say publicly that this was an incredible show. And if you miss this, I highly encourage you to get onto YouTube and subscribe to the Game Awards channel and watch this from start to finish. I think it was almost a 3-hour show, and there was not one part of it that I would have taken out. I enjoyed it from the start to the finish. But let's get into the intros, because obviously we have a lot to cover. Of course, first I have to welcome back a very good friend of ours, a very vocal member of this community who is not afraid to tell it like it is, someone that is one of the biggest Star Wars fans that I personally know, and whose hype level should be busting through the screen, because guess what? Star Wars Episode 9 is next week. So Shady, welcome back to the program, my friend.
Thanks, Boom. It is good to be back. It was a nice little time off I had, but I had to come back to give my world premiere Canadian reaction to last night's Game Awards show. There was some serious bombs getting dropped, the good kind of bombs, amongst just a ton of new games and lots of new footage and whatnot to talk about, man. Let's get into it.
Okay, well, listen, it's great to have you back, and you're always your seat's always going to be here, and it's great to work with you once again. Of course, you know him as a retired regular panel member of Breakfast with Boom, someone that brings some serious knowledge, community know-how, and just plain old niceness to the Xbox Factor podcast each and every week. And you know him as, like I said yesterday, the bravest man in YouTube, someone that's willing to take on the scariest game in the dark with headphones and the lights shut off. Zemi Games, welcome to the program, my friend.
Thank you so much, Boom, and thank you so much for throwing out the invite. Whenever you actually gave me the invite before we knew the big bombshell that happened, and as soon as that bomb went off, I just thought to myself, man, I'm so happy I'm on a podcast tomorrow because I have to talk about this. So thank you so much for the invite. As always, Boom, thank you.
Oh, well, listen, it's great to get to have you here. And next up, we have someone who I like to consider a superhero. He has saved numerous podcasts when I happen to have, guest situations happen where people, just had to take off for family. And you know how I feel. This is a family first podcast. And he has jumped in and basically held his own He is a community good guy. He's one of the biggest supporters on many of the content creators on YouTube. Please welcome to the program, Dreadpool, my friend. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. As Emmy said, I can't believe I'm on the show today, and I have something that is so exciting to talk about. It when I saw everything that happened last night. Whew, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, well, listen, dude, it's great to have you here, and I, I'm excited about that. I'm excited because I think a lot of people are excited to talk about what exactly transpired, and there's like I said, there's a lot to cover. There is really a lot to cover. Let me just oh wow, okay, I got to just thank a couple of people because first of all, we already have 78 people watching, and okay, so let me get into the last introduction now. We obviously have BitCloud Gaming should be popping in. He didn't say he wasn't going to be here. He might be running a little bit behind, but we have the next person on this panel is a very vocal part of the community, someone that I truly enjoy working with, someone that has been on numerous podcasts in the last couple of weeks. You've seen him before. And of course, he always has something important to say. Crispy Bomb, welcome to today's show, my friend.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is amazing, Phil. Let him breathe a little bit. Take the boot off the neck. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like when that dropped, I was like, no way. And I'll tell you something right now. It was very smart. You had so many people watching this show, and kudos to Geoff Keighley. I got to say, I was very pleasantly surprised about this. So let's just get into it. I don't want to get any farther.
Well, listen, first of all, we're going to get right into it. But before we do, I have to thank a couple of people. Infinite AA, who is also a channel member. He drops a $5 super chat and he says Xbox Series X equals Anaconda and Xbox Series S equals Lockhart. What do you think? That is exactly what it means. And the reveal that is going to happen in the spring is going to provide what the lesser powerful model, meaning the Lockhart or the Series S, is going to look like. And on top of that, I think there's going to be a couple of game reveals before E3 at this event to say, hey, listen, this is what we have coming out for the launch of these two SKUs. And I was going back and forth with Slow-Mo Backslap, who's a good friend of mine, great friend of the channel, great friend of the community. And he and I are both in agreement that the two SKU attack could be something that Microsoft does do for the start of the next generation and really put the screws to Sony, because obviously, like I've said publicly yet on yesterday's Xbox Factor podcast, I believe that the Series X is going to be $500. I believe the PlayStation 5 is going to be $500. But I believe that as important as those two new consoles are to the next generation, I think the most important console is going to be the Series S or the Lockhart because of price, and it's going to be $299.99. This is my early prediction, and I think that it is going to be that X factor, no pun intended, that Sony may or may not be prepared for, because if Microsoft's box is even remotely, and I'm talking about one frame faster than the PlayStation 5, they're going to have power and they're going to have price with a $299 Lockhart, and that could seriously rocket them into first place. Because again, you have to understand, the people that are here in this chat, the people that are on this panel, the people that are going to watch this video hopefully later on today, we're the hardcore. We're 15% of the fan of the consumer base. That's it. It's the 85% that Microsoft saw Sony take in this generation. They want a piece of that pie, and this two SKU attack can do it. But let me continue with, of course, the super chats. Elemental PO, first of all, dude, thank you so much for being here. He drops a very generous $10 super chat. He says, seriously, what a reveal last night. Hellblade 2 looked more movie than Ghost of Tsushima. I posted how the system looks laid down and the way that Phil has his, what do you prefer, up or down? I would probably say that I'm going to put it on its side because of the way of my setup. Tempest Sun, a regular on Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends, drops a $5 super chat. He says, Senua looking so hardcore, Kratos would shit his loincloth. That's great. I love it. And Young Kneecaps with the outstanding and very generous $5 super chat. He says, I'm loving this podcast. Great panel and all. I also appreciate the hard work you put into each week. Keep up the excellent work. Well, listen, dude, let me tell you something. First of all, there are two things. The $5 super chat, that's amazing. And your generosity, it cannot be denied. But the kind words weigh so much heavier that I cannot thank you enough, because you don't, as a content creator, as anyone that will know, it can sometimes be thankless. Just like being a police officer. Sometimes it's just a thankless job. But when you know that you're trying to do the right thing by people and you hear comments like that, that makes it all better. But let's get into the Big Daddy. Okay, now I'm gonna put a picture on the screen. Get ready, folks. You're gonna laugh your balls off. Here is who is representing the Xbox moving forward. Look at Phil Spencer holding that rocket launcher. And yes, I found this on Twitter. I believe D Black Raven is the one that posted it. I had to put it on the show. I think that it's amazing. It's funny. And I have to go immediately, of course, to the panel. And I'm going to start with Zemi Games, because I know, Zemi, you have been literally chomping at the bit since last night. What were your thoughts at the opening of the Game Awards 2019 when they did the world premiere? What were your thoughts going on at the time?
I mean, my mind was just absolutely blown. I mean, just seeing the in-engine footage of Hellblade, I mean, it literally looked like a movie rather than a video game. It looked so real and lifelike. It was kind of hard to imagine that was all digital characters, and it wasn't an actual girl sitting there acting, basically. And so, like, my mouth literally hit the floor. I was just absolutely in shock. And I couldn't believe, because all of us, we thought E3 2020 was going to be the big reveal of, the next Xbox system. And it turns out it was at the, Game Awards. I mean, it was just a huge shocker. And the way that this console looks, the form factor of the new console, I absolutely love. It looks simple, but it also looks sleek. It kind of has like that desktop vibe to it. I saw that some people were kind of complaining about it because they were unsure how they were going to fit it into their entertainment system. But fortunately, you can use it vertically, or you can use it laying down horizontal. I also like the design of it with the airflow coming out the top.
Yes.
Because that was a big issue, I thought, with this generation. Obviously, I love my Xbox One, but it has so many air vents all around it. It just kind of takes away from the aesthetic of the console. But I absolutely just love the design. Whenever I get mine, I'm definitely gonna have to put it vertical. It's gonna look like the next gen Xbox trophy. It's gonna look like a fine piece of art just sitting on my desk. I love it, and I can't wait to see what Xbox Pope, like what he's going to do with his designs and what Xbox is actually going to release as custom consoles, because I don't know. I think that you could do a lot with that, with how it sits very, very tall, and there's 4 sides to it. I think that you could really have some pretty awesome custom consoles, like possibly like a Halo Infinite console with like a different character on each and every side. I just think that would look absolutely sick. But and I think we actually kind of talked about this a little bit before, but if anyone was denying Lockhart's existence, like if there was still people out there denying that, I think that this is just another strong piece of evidence that throws that into the mix, because I mean, obviously this is called the Xbox Series X. There has to be an S, right?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Perfect sense that next year at E3 they're going to announce the Lockhart, the Series S, as the more affordable console for all the casual consumers out there that can't throw down $500, $400, $600 for the highest best console. And I was also noticing that there was a lot of people, still complaining about the SKUs. Like there was still people, like I noticed on Twitter, there was like, I think it might've been IGN. It looked like the guy from IGN. He was on like a panel talking about it, and he was kind of, talking about how the 2 SKUs will confuse customers.
That's ridiculous.
And, I think it's stupid. Because, that's basically saying that consumers are too stupid to understand that an item has 2 models, which is something that consumers have literally been doing with, dealing with for years, with TV, cell phones, tablets. I mean, freaking vacuum cleaners. There's multiple models of vacuum cleaners and coffee pots.
In the world, man, cereal has knockoff brands of cereal.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
There's
Like, isn't there a
multiple
Switch and a
models of
Switch Lite? Is that
everything.
confusing people?
Exactly. How are you going to say that this is going to confuse people? You're basically saying that people are too stupid to decide which product they want to buy, right?
It's funny it's funny you say that, because right now, like I just upgraded my wife and I, we just upgraded our phones. Like I had the Note 8, she had the the S8, I believe it was, and we just got the 10s, and we're perfectly fine with that. But if you look, you go to like we have Sprint. You go to Sprint.com, who's not a sponsor, by the way, then they should freaking be, but that's for another show. You could find the 10 version in 5 different versions, and as a consumer, I knew exactly what I wanted. I walked over to the S and I said, okay, let me see what this has, and I clicked it and said, you know what? I don't necessarily need the Note because it's a little big. I'm going to get this one. My wife's going to get this one. What is the problem with understanding the next generation Series X and S? Should it be the S?
I don't know, Boom. I had some guests over the other day asking if they wanted some water. I got bottled, I got tap, I got some Brita, I got some carbonated. Their heads exploded. They're all dead to hide the bodies. They don't know what the F is going on. So many options with the water. How are they supposed to know what to drink? I mean, I think that is one of the most ludicrous things ever to try and push. Is that 2 SKUs is going to cause people
yes, it's ridiculous.
Let's not lie. It's because it's an Xbox product.
Exactly.
That's why.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty easy to understand personally. I mean, obviously, the more expensive console is going to have more features. The less expensive one is going to have less features, but it's still going to do the job. Like, I don't see how that's rocket science, how that's hard for people to understand, but the people are still spreading this narrative. And so I had to bring that up. But overall, I'm super excited for this console. I love the way it looks. I love the name Series X. It just sounds really good. It kind of sounds like a fast sports car, right? Series X.
Yes.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I cannot wait for next year's E3 or whenever Xbox is going to give us more information on this and see some actual gameplay. I'm super pumped.
Now, listen, Shady, before I get to you, I have to thank a couple of people. JD Gamer drops a generous $2 super chat. He says, where are all the PS fans talking about AAA games? He drops an additional $2 super chat. He says, Senua's Saga cannot wait until November 2020. Yeah, I'm hoping that we do get it. And Robert Jones just completely blew my mind with the ridiculous generosity of a $42 super chat and doesn't even say anything. Basically, he just drops it and keeps it moving. Robert Jones, thank you very much for that outstanding generosity. And JD Gamer actually drops another $2 super chat. JD, thank you for your generosity. He says XSX, fastest and most powerful, said without a doubt. You know what? I'm going to tell you something about that, JD. And if you look at the screen, look at what I have up right now, okay? This is how you know Microsoft not only has balls of steel, but they know something that maybe we don't know that Sony already knows. And I say that because look how it's written. The new Xbox Series X, and in capital letters, fastest, period, most powerful, period. This is reminiscent of what happened with the Xbox One X. When they knew that they had the power crown, it was right on the box for you to see, for customers to see, for gamers to see. And putting this out just the way they did is basically, and again, this is my opinion, and I'm going to, maybe I'm going to offend a couple of people. This is what that says to me is that they know they have the Power Crown, because why put that on the box if you didn't have it? One other super chat that just came in, Shady, I'm going to get to you right now. Pixel Bit G with the outstanding and very generous $10 super chat. He says, IGN and idiots like them push the confused agenda. I'm sick of it, sick and tired of it. And he said the Pixel 3, and this is a great point, dude. The Pixel 3 has an X, an XL, an S, and an SL model. Oh my God, I'm so confused. Keep up the awesome work, guys. Well, listen, thank you for being here. Thank you for the generosity, and thank you for the knowledge, because you're absolutely right. The Pixel 3 phone, which just came out not too long ago, has 4 different models, and people are buying it, and they're looking for what one particular model has that the other one doesn't, that they may or may not need. And it's very simple. Consumers are not dumb. Maybe some are uninformed, but certainly not the masses. Shady, when you saw this reveal, and you saw the way that they've named it, first of all, how impressed were you to have Phil Spencer come out on stage and not only give us what the name was, but drop what the system looks like? What are your thoughts on that, dude?
I thought it was huge, and I got to give a shout out to Randall Thor,
yes,
and Jez Corden. Yesterday, their Xbox 2 podcast, they both called it. I mean,
they did. They did live on the air. I heard it.
Yeah, I mean, Rand, he plays with Phil, so I don't want to accuse the man of his predictions being actual inside knowledge. But I mean, his predictions are bang on, and if I actually hadn't tuned in, I would not in my life have guessed that they were going to show off the system and give a name at the Video Game Awards. I just didn't think so. We know they're going to do another show in a few months, similar to what they had at the beginning.
Yeah, they have a springtime event set for. Yeah.
So I think we were all kind of expecting nothing on the Scarlet, as it was known, until then. So to see it at the Game Awards, I think, one, really shows that the Game Awards has come a long way from the 5 years it's been out. It's a big event for gamers, whether you're into the actual awards being given out or not. There's a lot of trailers going on, and now we've got full-blown next-gen consoles being revealed, not just talked about and stuff. Like, I thought that was pretty huge, and it was brilliant because it's not an Xbox show, it's just a gaming show. So you've got millions of people from all fan bases watching. So they're not just like, I'm not going to watch it because it's Xbox, screw them. They're watching. So they all got to see it. And it was the first out the gate to do it. The internet is talking about it. Like the actual reveal trailer, the clip of it on the Xbox channel is the #1 trending on gaming for YouTube. It's got a couple million views already. People are interested, man. This has got people talking a lot, and I think we're heading right into Christmas, when a lot of people tend to go dark because it's the holiday times. You don't announce a lot of things right around Christmas. So I think this was a wickedly brilliant move on Xbox's side of things. I thought that the trailer was really cool. I had no idea what it was until all of a sudden, the cube busted out of the water and we saw a car from Forza, obviously, and the Chief looking absolutely stunning. And I liked the little voiceover they had talking about being able to dream and have anything that you wanted and control all your dreams. And that sounds amazing, but it got the point across that you get bored when you control absolutely everything. I'm going to make this woman fall in love with me. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you have it all. You're God. You eventually get bored. And at the end of it all, your #1 ultimate dream is the dreams that you can't control. They're the most interesting, which is life. And it's like in the here and the now is where you end up. And I thought that was kind of cool. I'm not familiar with the guy who does the voiceover, but I guess he's someone pretty famous. I keep hearing a lot of people in the comments are reading. They're quoting him and being like, way to get that guy. I guess he's passed away, but he's someone pretty known. I'm assuming it's some kind of like sci-fi thing or something. But I thought it was cool, man. I had goosebumps when I realized what it was. Just like, oh my God. The design was fantastic. This gigantic tower of power. Like I wish they'd called it the Xbox monolith, because I was thinking of like 2001: A Space Odyssey, man, with those chimps looking up at the black monolith of just, oh my God. I thought it looked amazing. I loved it. I thought originally it was that shape because of, some kind of a heating thing. They wanted to make sure that it was standing, but I guess people are lying it down. Phil lays it down, I hear. So I don't know. it's just that shape. I think it's really cool. We haven't seen something like that. It's like 2 GameCubes stacked on each other. They did have a controller beside it, so we do have kind of like an idea of the size. It looks to be about a controller wide and a controller deep, and then maybe 3 controllers
That's
stacked.
what they said. They're saying 3 controllers in height.
That's what
So it's not gigantic. It's almost like an X. You know how the X is thin? It's like they squished it. It's the same height as an X.
Yes.
And it's about a controller wide. So it's not going to fit in like your little tiny slot that some people have, but you shouldn't be jamming your consoles into a slot that is just big enough for it. These things need to breathe. So I really dug the design. I don't like the name Series X. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Neither does XSX. That doesn't roll off the tongue either. They did not address 2 SKUs at all. They only showed the one picture of the main one with the disk drive, which I find interesting. Like I would like to know out of Xbox's mouth, front facing on a show like this, that they are doing 2 SKUs.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I agree with you.
They have to save something for E3.
Yeah, well, that I think what they did, what they did, Shady, and I'll let you take the mic in a second. What they did was take the big boy, put that front and center, and I think the spring event that has already been confirmed. We just don't know the actual date yet, but it has been confirmed that a reveal event is coming. I think what you're going to get is more specs and more information about about the Series X. And I think that at the same show, they're going to bring out the S model, and you're going to see them side by side, what one does, what one has, what one doesn't. And I think on top of that, you're going to get a couple of release games that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could see that, but like, if there is 2 SKUs, I think that the Lockhart will look exactly the same. It'll also be a big monolith type shape. It'll just be missing the disk drive slot. So like just like a car commercial, they always have the nicest model in the car commercial. Yes,
of course. Yes,
it's the same deal there. But I really do hope that Series X is the name for the family of next generation consoles. So that'll include the Lockhart and the Anaconda. So instead of like the one family, which is the current generation, I hope Series X is the name of the family of consoles. And this thing still has its own name. And when we hear about the Lockhart, it'll have its own name as well. Because Series X, for one, it sounds like multiple consoles. Like it sounds like a series of devices.
Right, yes,
and I just don't think it doesn't roll off the tongue. What am I going to be? Hey, man, you want to play some Series X tonight? You want to play some SX tonight? You want to play some XSX tonight? I'm not sure. Like X... It's weird. It sounds weird to call it that. I don't hate it. At the end of the day, I don't care. I mean, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it's named. I just hope that it plays games amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's going to do that because that Hellblade reveal was jaw-dropping. Like the graphics of next gen. This is going to apply to PlayStation 5, obviously, as well. Oh my God, it's stunning, stunning. I thought that Hellblade reveal, which was all in engine. So that's nice to know. I thought that made the Ghost of Tsushima look like an actual PlayStation 4 game now. Ghost of Tsushima was gorgeous, like it still is. But all of a sudden, after seeing that and the other PlayStation 5 new game that was shown, it was kind of like, oh my God, next gen is so crisp, so clean. It literally looks like CGI animation or almost real life. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning. I loved it. To get a glimpse of the console, to hear the name, whether it's on the system or the family devices, was great. Phil came out and dropped, most powerful thing we've ever done. I like Phil. I like what he had to say. The entire internet is talking about this thing for the good and the bad. I know a lot of Sony guys are desperately trying to make memes out of it. It looks like a humidifier. It looks like I don't care.
It looks like a rig. It looks like a PC rig. That's the bottom line.
It does look like a little rig. Yeah. And it would be sweet. I've seen a lot of people like, can you just plug your keyboard and mouse in there and maybe have word processors and plug a printer in, and it's basically your PC rig. Maybe there will be a VR option. Microsoft just doesn't make their own headset. They don't need their own first parties to make games. Just allow third party to plug and play if it's such a thing. The system has the power. It certainly looks like a rig. I do like it. And that commando picture there with the rocket launcher sells me even more on the shape. I love it. I think it looks really good.
There you go, for everybody to see and laugh again.
Yeah, there you go. It's got that cool green accent up top. I think that would be neat if it glowed different colors. I agree with Zemi. There's a lot of room for like stickers and stuff like that you can buy already for your consoles, but just having it stand the way it does and look the way it does, you get a lot more surface area to kind of show off your customization. I hope it's easy to take the shell off, because if you know an artist somewhere, you take it somewhere and you want them to paint it,
they can probably
they
touch
can
it
take
up
it off
you.
and they can do a really wicked paint job on it without.
I'm sure it's going to be
innards,
put together with a
but
couple of screws. Just dude, listen, they're moving more and more until PC. First of all, welcome to the show, BitCloud. Welcome, dude. I know you just hit me up in the DM that you were going to be a few minutes late. Welcome, brother. How you feeling?
I'm good. I tried to go to sleep super early, but let's just say I was excited after last night.
Yeah, well, last night, I listen, it was like for Christmas, but listen, I'm going to get to you in a second.
One more thing I wanted to say is I'm really looking
please,
forward to seeing Xbox Pope's future designs on this console, man. There's a lot of canvas for that man to do his work on, and I look forward to seeing what he's
well, he does work for the gods, so I can only imagine what he's going to do. Let me get Crispy Bomb in here for a second, and before I do, Crispy, let me just thank a couple of people. First of all, Elemental P with the additional, outstanding, and extremely generous $10 super chat. He says MS announced 2 confirmed Series X games already. The media is still debating on what Sony will be bringing over to the PS5 from the PS4. Is there something wrong with this? Yeah, the media is they're gonna be the media, but I gotta tell you, I watched a GameSpot video this morning, and it's again, this is early, but they seem to be kind of coming around on Xbox, because it was all praises, hugs and kisses all over the place. And Shane Tomlin with the outstanding $2 super chat. He says, W Vampire made it sound cool, calling it the Xbox SX. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a sports car. Michelle Alexandria, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And she drops a $2 super chat. That is awesome. Greatly appreciate that. Elemental P drops an additional $2 super chat. Generosity cannot be denied. At Shady, I think it'll be referred to as just the Xbox. That is probably true. But Crispy Bomb, I want to get your opinion on what happened last night, because this, and I said this pre-game, and I promised that I would say it again live on the air. A lot of things went down in 2019. Many, many great games, many great news stories, many great podcasts, lots of stuff to talk about. But I have to say this publicly, without a shadow of a doubt, we thought that X019 was going to be the mic drop moment for Xbox going into the next generation, and that did not transpire. I enjoyed the show. There were some interesting things, but what happened last night to start the Game Awards is, in my opinion, the mic drop moment for gaming in 2019. So much so that saying it live on the air has given me goosebumps on my arms and legs. And I've watched that video 6 times since last night, and the goosebumps continue to get bigger. What are your thoughts, and what were you thinking when this transpired?
All I do is that when Phil walked up there, he looked like he was going to do something crazy. I felt that as soon as he saw him, you're like, he's got this little like devious smirk on his face.
He did have that smile.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes when he drops stuff, he's like, yeah, that's right. And here's the boldest thing. We're a year out. They have basically shown what the console is. That means that they don't care what Sony's got. Okay, because if you're going to go and do that, you remember when they've changed consoles at the last minute because of the competitor and this and that, like
the camera, yeah.
This is something that we weren't expecting, and kudos to them for doing this. Like I said, you're going on the Game Awards. You have every possible gamer that could ever be interested in watching this. Okay, and you drop this, and you say, "Look, this is where we're going." And me personally, yes, it looks like a rig. And I wouldn't mind, even if it's $600, if I got to save up a little money to have what I saw from Hellblade, is absolutely insane. Like on my 4K TV, I was like, are you serious right now? You know what I mean? I could not believe the graphical prowess that game has, running in engine. You heard them at the end, right before they reveal it, in engine. And I'm like, wow, this is where we're going. The faith has been restored. Finally, You know what I mean? You finally got to see something that they're working on that looks incredible. And if it plays anything like the original Hellblade, people are going to enjoy the heck out of it. And now it's an Xbox exclusive. You know what I mean? Game Pass. I mean, come on. All the stuff we saw that's going into Game Pass, it's something for everybody. People are ignoring this. You don't just have those AAA bangers. You've got smaller games. You've got the cartoony stuff. You've got everything for every single person that you could ever want. And it's a flat rate, that people will enjoy instead of dropping $60 here, $60 there. You know what I mean? And that's something that, is just great for gaming in general. This is a huge step in the right direction for Xbox. I had the faith to begin with, but this just completely blew my mind. I could not believe it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that showing off the control. So you got to remember, there's a couple of things that you have to take into account here. And I'm going to go to Dreadpool next. And Big Cloud, we're going to come at the back end and get your opinion on this. Dreadpool, when you look at what they've done, okay, Phil could have just come up there and mentioned the name, right? But they took it to when you hear turn the dial to 11, I think that they turned the dial to 17 because when I say this is balls of steel, I'm not just saying that as a parody. I'm being like straight up serious. Like this is so uncharacteristic of Microsoft to pull a move like this, at the Game Awards where they have no control. They are at the will of Geoff Keighley. It's his show. This kind of move happens at a controlled event. And they just let everything hang out to see how big his dick really is, because that's exactly what happened. He gave you the name. He gave you what the console looked like. He gave you what the controller looks like with the new share button, which we're going to talk about in a second. And he dropped a trailer that's a ways out that they normally don't do. What were your thoughts when this all happened?
I had no thoughts. I was just focused on what was going on. I just couldn't believe what I saw. We've always complained that Xbox is lacking this, lacking the communication. We don't have this, we don't have that. It's always the downside of everything. This time they actually took the narrative and they led the way. You know what I'm saying? They came up, the XO19, and they were, everybody's complaining about the cartoony games. Well, I'm kind of glad now that they did that, because now they got all those games that would have popped up, possibly leaks or anything like that. They could have pushed it all out of the way. They got it out of there. They're able to show you in the intro video, and you're like, okay, what is this? And then all of a sudden you saw the car. You're like, all right, we know what this is, Forza. And then you go into sports, and then you
get to see the Master Chief.
You see Halo. On. I mean, yeah, you're assuming you're on the Halo ring, but either way, I mean, you're just like, oh, okay. Hopefully, the graphics are, we don't. I mean, this is all CGI. We know that this is nothing. This is just the creator creating a video to get us all excited. So you're not expecting much. You're like, okay, all right. What is it? Game Pass? Is it because they're promoting something, and usually it's Game Pass is what they're promoting. And then when you see the console, you see that box, that clear box, and you're like, wait a second.
I was stunned.
That's
live on the air.
Yeah, that's not a Prism. That's the console. We've been talking about that. Phil's got he doesn't actually have the console. He's got a computer. He's got the basics of it. I mean, we already know they're still working on trying to hit targets.
Right.
Okay.
That's
but
confirmed.
They made you forget about all this. They made you excited. Okay, this is going to be cool. What is this? Holy cow. This is what it's going to look like, it looks like it's got RGB with just the green shining through. Now, the more I look at it, I think it's just like green plastic in there, more so than RGB. But it really looked cool. I'm obviously going to have mine horizontal. Most people have their consoles in the the home theater set up, so there's not much room for vertical. So usually everything's horizontal. So, and that being said, I do have concerns already for heat dissipation. We only see the top side as horizontal is where the vents are. So I'm curious to see what the back side looks like. I believe we're only seeing the face, and the left side is actually the top, because if you flip it horizontally, the CD is on the left, the Xbox right.
Yeah, and
Right.
the power
So
button on the
the power button. So that's what I'm thinking. And I there's just so much we don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that we're reading into it, and that's what they wanted. They wanted us to get the excitement, to get that hype back again. And I literally watched it over and over again, and I started questioning things. And I'm like, well, what about this? What about that? What I don't see any ports anywhere. You know, we have on the side, we have U ports in the back. This one is a clean look. Obviously, like we said, it's a very PC-esque box.
Yeah.
It's not as long, so that's where I'm starting to question, because it's about 2 Xbox One X. So if one of my friends had posted a picture of their 2 Xboxes sitting side to side and put their controller right in front to kind of get an idea of the size of it. It looks really cool to me. I like the aesthetic of it. Like I said, I do have concerns about certain things, and I know everybody's going to hate me, but I don't care. First thing I'm going to do is, when I hook it up and power it up, is have that Connect 2.0 hooked up to it to see what happens.
Well, I mean, listen, if that's what you want to do with it, by all means. I don't necessarily know if it's going to work at this point, but it's. I'm going to say this, and of course, I have to go to Big Cloud because he just came in. But before I get to you, because I'm going to bring up the controller, I have to thank quite a few people. First of all, Scrub Nurse, thanks for being here, dude. He drops an outstandingly generous $10 super chat. He says, "This is what I'm talking about. Great decision to drop this console reveal. This was a definite shock. Xbox grabbed the hype from the show and needs to push forward just like this. Hashtag Phil Dominus Maximus." Yes, they have to keep running with this. Robert Jones drops another outstandingly generous $12 super. He said that reveal and Hellblade reveal, damn, day one. Yes, absolutely. Let me just continue. Smitty Smith, thank you so much for being here, dude. Do greatly appreciate the support of watching the show. But he's also dropped a $10 super chat. He says, "Hello, everyone. Could you imagine what Outer Worlds 2 is going to look like on the Series X?" And you know what? He says, "Sweet Jesus." So I don't even know what to say, because I think it's going to look bananas. And of course, another super chat just came in from Spider-Man. He says, first of all, thank you for the $5 super chat. That's greatly appreciated. He says Xbox Series X was the best in show and biggest surprise from I guess meant the Game Awards. So excited for next gen. My God, this is going so fast. So excited for next gen. Ninja Theory new game looks great. MS taking next generation seriously. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So hey, Big Cloud, let me get your opinion on this, because
I didn't.
Yeah, you want to finish something, Dreadpool?
Yeah, I still had more.
Oh yeah,
more to go
keep it moving.
I'm sorry, but I just want to keep going while I'm still in this thought process. Senua Saga. We Phil did say, "Hey, look, this is in-game engine." Now, did anybody else get that feeling of watching Call of Duty on the original Xbox, and when they showed us Call of Duty on the 360?
Yeah,
mine was blown. It was like, holy cow, look at this. That's what that felt like. It felt like another.
I put
facial animations. Like, you've got the screen up there, Boom, and like just that look. That does not look like a video game face. The teeth, the mouth, the cheeks, the way her eye is squinted like that. Like, it's very articulated. Every muscle is accounted for, kind of style. It just looks fantastic.
See the extra pictures that make it up.
Well, and her body movements as well, just like match what you would see out of like an actual human being, and it's not like a like a stick figure. You know what I mean? Like even like her arms going up, her like shoulders, the way that they're moving and stuff just looks super realistic.
Yeah, it's outrageous. Well, listen, keep Dreadpool. If anything else you'd like to add, you can just keep it moving. This is a conversational podcast, my friend.
No, I understand. That's why I'm letting you guys break in there. So obviously the X-19, like we said, they had their cartoony games. Here we are with the realistic in-game images. Ghost of Tsushima looked great back then. I hope that they up the ante a little bit more because it still looks great. I just feel like after watching Senua's Saga that it pulled away from everything else. Everything else looked like nothing. You know what I'm saying? The Fast and Furious looked.
Like, oh my God! Yeah, that was awful.
I don't know what they were thinking.
That was awful.
Models,
the cars
man.
looked okay, but the characters were horrible.
They were off. That was like a GameCube.
Like Tyrese, he wasn't in there. That was somebody else they just threw in there.
That was GameCube graphics, bro.
Yeah.
They're desperate for that Keanu Reeves moment, man. What happened at E3 with Keanu went so viral and was memed so hard that that's what these game stuff is going to start hitting. Those are going to be big time celebrity presence at all these shows now. I'm not a fan of it, man. I think it's cheap. It doesn't come off as genuine or good, in my opinion. Like Keanu was there just because he's in the game. That's it. He wasn't mentioning his motorcycle company or what movies he's in. Having Vin Diesel come out like that, it was so. Well,
it was probably
it
was probably the only cringy moment because he what bothered me. I like Vin Diesel. I think he's an amazing actor.
Oh yeah, but the trailer didn't belong at the end of the Game Awards at all. Let alone it was because of Vin Diesel. They were hoping it was going to be like, oh my God, Vin Diesel is here and it makes billions and wow, what a moment! And it just came off like, how is this the final game you're showing? It's not good.
Yeah, I think part of it was just the movie promo.
That too, like he's there to sling his own stuff, and it's kind of like this. No, like don't be doing more of that, please. Let's back off on that stuff.
Yeah, so I'm still waiting to see what they're going to do with the xCloud and all that. I've already been on several topics podcasts before bringing up xCloud, and it's like, oh, he's got to bring that up. Like, come on now, that's not even real. But it's seeing from all this stuff. I mean, this is a more PC than we've ever seen in these consoles. And didn't Phil many years ago when he said he's going to rework everything, he's going to go back to the network, back to the consoles and make X and S. And everybody was worried that we're going to have a graphics card you're going to slide out and put a new one in, like we had to do with the hard drives. So this kind of solidifies that you're probably not going to be doing that. You're going to buy the box as is, and you just play it just like a console. But it's, yet again, everything's leaning more towards PC. So, I mean, I'm just excited. I can't wait to see what xCloud is going to happen, how they're going to incorporate it. We've already talked about it before. But, yeah, it's just the monolith is what's probably going to be nicknamed now. So I can't wait to see what Little Monkey Graphic God puts on the bottom of it, or what Xbox Pope designs, so a lot of these guys are going to come up with some really cool features to put on top of this monolith. So,
yeah, I mean, listen, the possibilities at this point are endless, and who's to know what it's going to look like? But BitCloud, I got to get you in here because obviously you watched the same show we did. I'm going to bring up the controller. This was something that I didn't see a lot of people talking about initially because they're like, oh, it's just an Xbox controller. And when you look at it, first of all, the immediate thing that jumps off the screen is something that Sony did amazingly well with the share button. And people have been calling for this, and they have answered the call. But you can see design differences in this controller. The bumpers look more prominent. The D-pad looks amazing. Before we talk about the controller and get your opinion on that, where were you and what were your thoughts when they actually unveiled this at the Game Awards?
Yeah, I was watching it live with everybody. So we did a live on the channel when they did the little play, like the little, I guess you can say the little slideshow type of thing. And then they started showing gameplay of like, it looked like Halo. Yeah, showing like Halo. When we saw Halo, it was okay. This might be a Halo trailer. I was like, okay, cool. Halo's got a trailer. Maybe go see some gameplay. And it was like, nah, that was the gameplay. and then you see the silhouette of the box, and it's like, wait, what's going on here? And it's like, oh, Xbox Series X. And when I saw Xbox Series X, now at first, immediately, I didn't think that was Scarlet, to be honest with you. I thought that maybe that was another console. Maybe that was for the Lockhart, because you remember Lockhart was still being supposedly teased. Remember that?
Yes.
But then they said this is our most powerful console that we've ever built, and it's our most fast. I was like, okay, you know what? That is the Scarlet. And everybody was losing their mind a little bit. It was like, okay, wait, that's what it looks like? You know, it looks like this. Now, obviously, design-wise, it doesn't really blow me away, or it doesn't really shock me, because it looks kind of like what we talked about a long time ago, Steam machines. You guys remember that? These new particular systems are going to produce a lot of heat, so they rely a lot on ventilation. Yep. So the fact that it looks more like a rig doesn't surprise me at all. I think it looks good for what it is, but it really does look like a mini tower for sure, like something you could put on your desk. It looks like a mini tower, but whatever it's in there, again, they were smart to not release specifications. Instead, they just like blew you away with designs alone, and kind of like just the possibilities with Hellblade, which again, Hellblade looked really, really good. I like the ray tracing that was going into that. That looked really, really good. So that was cool to see. Just, you have more questions though at the end of the day, because you want to know like what's literally in the box,
I think that's where I think though, I listen, everything that was done, everything that's going to be done seems uncharacteristic of what Microsoft has done in the past that has not worked. And it appears they have in fact learned from their mistakes. Would you agree with that?
But this first showing, because like again, I said it before, I said it numerous times, just like really show your big guns. You know what I'm saying? Like take some gamers by storm type of thing. And they actually did do that. They actually shocked people. And that right there created what? Excitement. Remember I told you? Like it was excitement. Create that excitement. And they created excitement with that one show. So that was good. That was definitely good for them. But one thing they also confirmed is what I said before last time we were live here. I said, remember when the Phil stated that he had an Xbox with him?
Yes.
Remember, I told you specs are final. Specs are final for this thing. They're done. They're just making they're in production right now for the system. I'm without a doubt they're in production for the system. I doubt they're fine tuning anything else, especially this close to 2020. Doubt it. Everything's pretty much locked in. So what you're going to see is what you're going to get. I don't even think they're doing another event, to be honest with you. Well, they could, though.
No, they've confirmed it. They've confirmed they've already confirmed the spring reveal event. Yes.
Okay, so spring reveal, you'll get the full specification breakdown.
You'll probably get what the S version or the Lockhart version is going to look like.
Yeah, that's going to be the star more than likely of the show there, because I've been seeing a lot of people throw a lot of interesting numbers for this. Again, when you have a design like this, the way it looks like, right, a rig at the end of the day, a lot of people really had this thought in their mind that maybe it was going to be expensive. Like maybe this is going to be past the 500 mark. Hence why they're launching 2 consoles. Again, I don't want to say that, but they do have a lot of questions they have to answer there. Like how much is this thing really going to be? But
I think it's going to be $500. I mean, you got to remember, Phil Spencer said. Phil Spencer said during E3, and he said this in multiple interviews, we will not be beat by Sony in price and power.
No, but if they do have 2 SKUs, then they could have the cheaper SKU.
There you go. That's
a true statement.
He just told my point exactly. That's where Lockhart comes into play. There, boom. That could be the cheap option. They'll win in the cheap category there. Then they can get the power advantage with Xbox Series X and have a more powerful one.
I hope it's not, though. I hope when he said we won't be beat on power and price, it means that it'll be more powerful and at the very least, that sounds better, right?
I think regardless of what the price point is, if the PlayStation 5 is $400, then the Xbox Series X is going to be $400. I think Xbox is at the very least going to match the PlayStation 5's price for their higher end console.
What if Xbox announces their price first and Sony comes out and adjusts their price and comes out $50 or $100 less? Do you think Xbox will counter? Will have an actual war before the console's even out?
No, that's an excellent question. Excellent question. And my answer, and I'll get everyone's answer. I want to hear everyone have to say about this, but my answer to that is that's why there's 2 SKUs. Because Sony can't go to $299 on the PS5. They have 1 SKU from what we understand, right? It's going to be the PS5. The PS5 is going to be powerful. It's going to be what it is. So Microsoft, on the other hand, this 2 SKU power play puts a lot of pressure on Sony because they can't afford to take a loss. They're not Microsoft. They're a company that's bleeding money all over the place. The only divisions that are making any money from them is obviously the PlayStation division and the movies surrounding Spider-Man. That's it.
Well,
they're bleeding money from everywhere else.
To add on to what you just said there, they actually been out of the red for the longest. They're fixed financially wise. They just can't make bad investments anymore. You're right, though. They can't make insane investments that won't sell. But they're
exactly.
not.
Yes.
They're not that. But far as, again, this console is concerned, again, a lot of questions. I mean, they call it Series X. Now, Shady said it best too. How do you market that? I don't like that name at all. I just don't like that.
So I think it's the name of the whole family of
the whole family. It's like, this is the Series X. Okay, so what? You're gonna have a Series S? That's kind of going back in the same realm that we just came from this gen when we had Xbox One X, Xbox One S. How about you do something different, change it to something else? I said it before that these code names be sounding better than the actual systems when they launch.
I agree with you, but again, you got to remember that this is a particular subject that I don't know how much wiggle room they have, because obviously Sony just calls whatever the next iteration, they add a number. The PlayStation 17.
Simple. Yeah, exactly.
It's simple, but at the same time, it's simplistic, and you know, that's how it's always been. Whereas, you know, I mean, maybe Microsoft has pointed themselves and painted themselves into a corner. But I'm going to be honest with you, I happen to really like the name. I think it sounds sleek. I think it sounds expensive.
Exactly. Like Series sounds like something that I'm going to go out and pay money for. It sounds like a high-priced product, something that's worth me throwing my money at. You know what I mean? It sounds prestigious. It sounds like, you know, a sports car. It sounds like something that somebody definitely wants to go throw their money at.
It's also part of their naming scheme, because if you look at the Surface Pro, they just pushed out a Surface Pro X. So X is like a big naming scheme with them. Obviously, we know DirectX, Xbox.
Yes.
So, but now they're reiterating and doubling down on this. So yet again, like you guys said, the Series X sounds like a sports car. You know.
Yeah. It's like,
if it was the X series, I almost think that sounds better than Series X. The series is in a weird spot.
Exactly.
I'm putting it already down. Series S is going to be stainless.
Yeah. Like Xbox Elite. Go back to the Elite name. I'm just saying. But aside from
agree with that.
Yeah, aside from that damn that name, again, that didn't spoil the excitement at all for it. I think it was Dreadpool who said the ventilation of this. They were very strategic not to show the back of this console for obvious reasons. I'm thinking more ventilation want to be on the back, like you would see in a tower rig. Like my rig has
probably towards the bottom of the unit.
Yeah, mine's like that. For every tower, every PC tower has ventilation in the back, but also, you know, top, depending on the model, or they might have ventilation in the front. This model has it literally up top and the back. So I do believe ventilation is not going to be a problem here. It just, again, the name was odd. When I saw the controller, I didn't really think the controller changed, to be honest with you. It looked the same until I saw like the middle button.
When the D-pad is different. I don't like that D-pad. That's the kind of D-pad where now, like a fighter, you push forward and your guy jumps by accident because it thinks you push diagonal forward up. I don't like D-pads that are connected like that. I like them separate like they are right now. Just the solid cross.
Well, I got some info.
I'm a little upset about that with the new controller.
Ready for it?
No.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm sure there's going to be an option to, obviously, if you ever get an Elite, I'm sure the Elite has multiple options. I mean,
we had to bring all our controllers with us, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. That customized controller section on their store, that's not going anywhere. So obviously, that's still going to work with these with the next console. So obviously, they'll probably add on the new series, which is this one, the launch edition, to that store. You can customize it, but yeah, I mean, it looks fine. I don't see no issues there. I'm thinking they probably just changed this based on the feedback that they got from this gen and just improved it there. It looks fine. It doesn't look that big of a deal.
I hope they didn't spend $100 million redesigning it again like they allegedly did with the Xbox One controller. It's like, go get a 360 controller or an Xbox One controller. They're a little bit different, but arguably almost exactly the same. How does that cost $100 million?
I will take 1% of that $100 million in my pocket, please.
$100 million just to redesign it over time. I don't know, but
it's like, I need to get into the design business. I'm doing the wrong shit apparently, because my God, these dudes are getting paid a lot of money apparently.
Well, listen, real quick,
buttons look better too. The hopefully little shoulder buttons are not super flushed against the controller too.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, I cannot wait to get it in my hand. But listen, before we move on to the next topic, I want to read the blog post from the Microsoft site that went into more detail about the design, which has apparently been built to maximize airflow with support for both vertical and horizontal orientations. But before I do that, I have to say, first of all, we have 300 people watching live. That is a record for this show that we broke yesterday on the Xbox Factor podcast. I cannot thank you for, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, to see that this show has expanded its viewership in a way that I never anticipated. If you're here and you're new, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, welcome to this show. If you're enjoying it, consider hitting that subscribe button. If you're enjoying this show, hit the like button. And of course, I have to thank a couple of people. Errol Channer, who's a big fan of the show and is always here supporting, drops a $2 super chat. Thank you for being here, but of course, your generosity. And we have Sophonic X Initiative with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, calling it Series X is the last fam of the systems that will continue to grow. Also, Amazon sneaking in and nobody's watching them. Google take notes. Thank you so much for that. We have a couple of the super chats I just have to get to before we move on to this statement. I want to make sure I get everybody. Okay, here's Sin Vendetta. Thank you so much for being here, dude. Really appreciate it. He drops a $5 super chat. He says, Phil Spencer also said that the next Xbox would be a price that consumers are accustomed to. So I believe Series X will be $499.99. And again, that is a great point. And Mocha Smiley, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. He drops a $2 super chat. He says, just imagine Flight Simulator on the Series X. No, I cannot. Pixel Bit G with the additional $2 super chat. He says MS needs to focus on photo mode for first party. Absolutely. And I am Stadian with the $2 super chat. Congrats on breaking the record. Well, thank you for being here. Really appreciate that. But let me read exactly the direct message from the blog post. It says this: Xbox Series X will be our fastest, most powerful console ever and set a new bar for performance, speed, and compatibility, allowing you to bring your gaming legacy, thousands of games to from three generations, and move forward with you. Its industrial design enables us to deliver 4 times the processing power of the current Xbox One X in the most quiet and efficient way, something that is critically important to delivering truly immersive gameplay. We've also designed the Xbox Series X to support both vertical and horizontal orientations. It's a bold and unique and very much like our fans around the world and the team of collaborators and the inventors who built it. From a technical standpoint, this will manifest as the world-class visuals in 4K at 60 frames per second with the possibility of up to 120 frames per second, including support for variable refresh rate, which is VRR, and 8K compatibility. Powered by our custom designed processor, leveraging the latest Zen 2 and next generation RDNA architecture from our partners at AMD. Xbox Series X will deliver hardware accelerated ray tracing and a new level of performance never before seen in a home console. Additionally, our patent variable rate shading, VRS for short, technologically will allow developers to get even more out of the Xbox Series X GPU, and our next generation SSD will virtually eliminate load times and bring players into their gaming world faster than ever before. And I just want to read a Phil Spencer quote that he put out on Twitter, and this is a direct message from his official Twitter account. Proud to represent the work of so many on Team Xbox tonight at the Game Awards, unveiling our fastest, most powerful console ever. The Xbox Series X is built to reshape how developers create and players experience games in the next generation to design #power your dreams. And I got to tell you, the more we hear about this, the more that the information is dropped, the more as an Xbox fan, as a gamer, makes me so excited for the next generation. But listen, we are an hour and 5 minutes into the show, and we've just talked about Xbox. And as much as I could easily take another 55 minutes and continue, there were a lot of stuff that happened that we have to get into. And of course, the first one being the confirmed PlayStation 5 game called Godfall, which looked absolutely effing stunning. And I'm bringing up a picture. I pulled a couple of pictures from last night's awards. I'm going to put them up on the screen so you could take a look. What this tells me, first of all, this is by Gearbox Studio. It is a confirmed exclusive. It is also basically a confirmed launch title for the PS5. Now, we only saw a few minutes trailer. I've watched the trailer multiple times. It seems, because they said it that it's kind of like a loot, kind of a multiplayer game. This screams Destiny to me. This screams something new. It screams multiplayer. Now, I'm going to say this. There are a lot of folks, including myself, that would love more multiplayer games, and Sony seems to have listened to their fan base based on this one particular game. And Big Cloud, I have to go to you first because you know, and you're proud of it, you are our resident PlayStation player. And you enjoy it, and that's awesome. I have the same love and affection that you have for these single-player romps that we both enjoy. What were your thoughts when this came up on the screen? Because it shocked me.
Yeah, when I first saw this and it said PS5, I was like, holy shit. Like, wait, don't tell me Sony's going to do a reveal here too. You know, like that's what kind of it brought up to me. I was like, oh, guys, like that woke everybody up because at the start of the show, we was okay, starting off okay. Then we got into the Xbox Series X reveal, and everybody was like, holy shit, jaws were wide open. Then we got this, and we was like, okay, you know what? Maybe this show's got some insane, things, and they still were showing some good stuff. But in terms of the style of this game, this does go back to what the feedback that I guess Sony received this gen. They did say they were going to invest in multiplayer games. They were going to be making their own in their first party catalog, and this does look heavily inspired by Destiny. It does, and for what we saw, it looked really, really good. I'm loving that. Just that you can clearly tell, right, that this is not from this gen.
No, this is a next generation game.
That was plain as day with both the Series X and PS5. They're showing that what you see right now is not what you're going to get here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something completely different. And that was the good thing about it, too. They showed the power gap just in the trailers alone. And they didn't even go all out with specifications at all. So it looked good. I thought it looked good. I am intrigued by what it's going to be. Like, what else is going to be in it? Like, is it going to be strictly multiplayer? Will it have like a single player, that type of thing? It looks good though. And this is not a bad show for, like your first game to give you a glimpse of what's going to happen with PS5. And again, there's so many more titles that can be happening with PS5 as of right now. I mean, you see it with Insomniac Games. They keep tweeting Resistance over and over.
Dude, it's funny. We're not going to get to it, and I'm so mad because I have a whole spiel about, thanks to your ridiculous detective work, we think that we're going to get a Resistance. I'm almost positive we're going to get a Resistance, but on top of that, Bluepoint is working on 2 exclusives as well that are rumored to be launch titles. So listen, PS5 may have some serious rounds in the chamber, and I'm going to be honest with you folks. I'm going to buy both, and I'm buying every effing launch title for the PS5. I don't have to buy them, thank goodness, for the Xbox, because they're being Game Pass, and that's going to save me $300-400. But man, it is going to be an amazing 2020, dude.
Yeah, I said this during stream. I was like, "Oh, 2020 is definitely the year." I would say this has got to be the year. If you're not excited for anything coming out of 2020, then you have no pulse. Like
that, or you're just not a gamer.
Just not a gamer at this point. If you're not excited for anything, I mean, we got the insane trailer for Resident Evil 3 that we got at State of Play. We got that. I mean, there's so much to look forward to in 2020. So even though next gen is literally around the corner, I said this too. This current gen is not leaving without a bang. You got some bangers to involve this current gen before you jump into next gen. And the sad thing is too, and the funny thing is, there's no rush to jump into next gen right out the way. You can enjoy what you got so far and then make that next gen leap to whatever Sony and what Microsoft has to offer with the new consoles. The Series X going to offer Microsoft's, upgraded first party games, right? So we saw Hellblade. What is the coalition working on? You know what I'm saying? What are they working on? You got to ask yourself this stuff. And, that's what you're going to get next gen. So you have a lot to look forward to. But for Sony, it's up in the air with me at this point. What they're gonna do, because Resistance is the game that I keep seeing them tweet about, right? They keep talking about it. They talked about Sunset Overdrive 2 at one point, but then they stopped. It's been strictly Resistance, and then they were showing off like the auger designs and whatnot. I was like,
yes.
If you're gonna do Resistance, that's taking us back to PlayStation 3, where we had Resistance as a launch title.
I mean, listen, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to bring up another screenshot. I mean, listen, this is next generation graphics, folks. This is like I said, and I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. One of the biggest complaints when you talk about these stupid console wars, when people get on about a piece of plastic, there's some truth to a lot of the complaints. Yeah. One of which for Microsoft has been their first party that apparently has been addressed. For Sony, it's always been about the multiplayer, right? And I'm not talking about some multiplayer thrown together like an Uncharted 4, and people like it. People like the Uncharted multiplayer. That's great. But I know what the multiplayer people are talking about. What we see in front of us, if it comes to fruition, like I think it's going to be, and this is going to be, I'm not going to say the words destiny killer, but I think it's going to be, someone said it in the chat, and I'm so sorry because it's moving so quick. He said looter slasher, because this obviously looks like you're going to be able to use swords as well as guns, which is crazy dope. This is what you want as a gamer, folks. You want different, and you want advanced, and you want better for your next generation consoles. And I think we're going to get that in spades from both. But good on Sony and good on Gearbox for putting this out there. This was really interesting, keeping with it, because I want to keep everybody on the same page. And I'm going to bring up some shots of Ghost of Tsushima that I pulled from the internet. And what I pulled, folks, is gameplay. This is not CG. This is actual gameplay. BitCloud, did you get the same feeling that I did when you saw this and you thought Tenchu?
Yeah. It looks insane. It goes back to the previous demo we got before, and then we got the progression now. It looks good. Now, the trailer, though, I will admit, though, the trailer that was shown at the Game Awards, I would say could have been at State of Play. I mean, it wasn't that insanely long, but they did give you a little bit more context of the game. For example, you can use your horse to jump off, kind of like Sekiro. Yes. Or something like that.
Yes.
And kill. So that was cool. That was a nice little addition to it. I'm guessing there's going to be more to the stealth, because you guys saw in the trailer he threw a smoke bomb, and like he was throwing bombs in the middle of combat. So I'm guessing that's going to be a thing too. Man, it was good. It really was good. In the facial animation too, I just like, wow, this looks dope. It's hard to really, I don't know, it's hard to really say what else to really expect from that game, because we saw a boss battle in the very first gameplay reveal of it. So we know what kind of expect with the boss battles. It's going to be a lot of parry and kind of like Sekiro, but it's going to be kind of like it looks more like a realistic kind of like one of those old school kung fu movie type of.
Yes, it's certainly. I said that on the Iron Lords last night. It reminded me of the old Channel 5 movies from back in the days.
Yes, it does. And one thing they also they put a lot of detail into was the way the leaves flow with the wind and the hair physics. They put a lot of detail into that. They even did it with the performance. So this is going to look even better on PS5 for sure. This is definitely going to be one of those titles that's going to get enhanced, because you're going to get enhanced titles without a doubt. I do believe that's going to be a thing for both the Series X and PS5. So I can definitely see this game getting even more out of it. I know a lot of people are saying this is PS5 title. It could very well be, but it will just be enhanced, because it was still a PS4 to begin with. But man,
yeah, a lot to get excited about. Hey, I'm going to go to, of course, Zemi Games. Zemi, now obviously you said that you're going to probably attempt to buy both consoles. Now, whether or not you can do it or not is irrelevant, but just based on what we saw on 2 games, and obviously, I'm going to bring up another shot of Ghost of Tsushima gameplay. This is gameplay, folks. This is not pulled from the trailer and doctored to make it look like. This is actual gameplay shots that I pulled from the internet. Zemi, from what you've seen on these 2 games so far, we know that you're super stoked for the next Xbox. Are you just as excited and potentially going to become a PlayStation 5 owner if, of course, it's financially possible? Because again, these systems are going to cost a pretty penny. What are your thoughts on the 2 games that were shown last night at the awards? Were you surprised and, more importantly, impressed?
Was I surprised? I don't really think so, just because, I hate to come off sounding like a huge Xbox fanboy, but Xbox really blew me away. It was kind of
hard. It was hard to keep watching the show.
PlayStation or any of the other developers to come out with anything that would top that. You know what I mean? For me personally. But the very first game that you showed, what was the name of that title again? It was like God something?
Godfall.
Yes. Godfall. Yeah. So I'm not really super big into that type of gameplay. But that doesn't mean that, I don't appreciate it. I think it's very important that Sony does have more multiplayer exclusive titles on their platform, because for the longest time, and I'm a huge single player fan, right? And I will say right now, in my opinion, I think Sony reigns supreme whenever it comes to single player first party exclusive games. And one of their biggest weaknesses, this entire generation, has been multiplayer exclusives. And so it's super important for them to have this game. It's not really my type of game. It's not really what I'm going to want to spend hours and hours in, because there's so many games that come out. Single player games are just easier to get into, get out of. You don't have to worry about finding friends to play it with. So for me personally, I would probably pass on this game, but I think it's very important for the platform to have this game. But whenever it comes to Ghost of Tsushima, oh my God, that game looks so good, so brutal, so bloody. It really kind of reminds me, I said this, I think, many podcasts ago, it kind of reminds me of Assassin's Creed Odyssey if it was like a samurai game. Yes. Which is something I have always wanted Assassin's Creed to do. And I do appreciate, I don't really like the Japanese style of games necessarily. Like, I wasn't really a huge fan of Monster Hunter World, but I do like the Japanese culture. And so for that reason, I am absolutely all in. I think Ghost of Tsushima is coming out mid 2020. So I'm not going to have a PlayStation by then, because I just cannot buy a PlayStation 4 with the PlayStation 5 about to come out.
I know, it wouldn't make any sense. It would have to be like, maybe if someone said, hey, take my PlayStation 4 for $50. You can't pass that up.
Now, I will say this. If PlayStation straightens out their act, and if they, adopt what Xbox has with their Game Pass, super, consumer friendly, and if Ghost of Tsushima, for some reason, goes to PlayStation Now, before the new consoles come out, I will probably have to subscribe to it and play it on my PC. I don't think I'll be able to help myself then, but I definitely plan on getting a PlayStation 5 because there's so many games I want to play. I want to play Detroit Become Human. I want to play The Last of Us 2. Super excited about that game. And Ghost of Tsushima looks absolutely fantastic and brilliant. So I want to play that as well. It might be a month or two after I pick up my Xbox, but I'm definitely going to have to pick one up to play all of these great exclusives Sony's thrown out there.
No, I mean, listen, that's a great point. Of course, I'm going to go to So Shady next one. Is Shady, are you there, my brother? Maybe I'm going to make sure I didn't miss a message.
Yeah, boo.
Oh, okay, so Shady, listen, here's the thing. You obviously have roommates, right? And the way that you try to make gaming affordable is that everyone game shares, or you all kind of pick up the the slack to try and to keep the games flowing in the house, which makes sense. Now, obviously, what transpired at the start, the official start of the Game Awards, kind of took everyone's breath away. And to be honest with you, a lot of people found it hard to focus because they were so taken aback, excited with what Microsoft did live on the stage, which was completely unexpected. But for me personally, as someone who's a content creator and someone that needs to keep his focus, I was ridiculously excited to know that not only did we get the full trailer of Ghost of Tsushima, gameplay was up there for people if you looked for it and saw it in action. But then we got a PlayStation 5 game that has basically been confirmed as a launch title. And wow, what a launch title it's going to be. What are your thoughts on the two games shown for Sony?
Oh, they look good. They look good. Before that, I just wanted to rewind actually and just give it like a quick minute impression on the entire show. We kind of just dove right into the guts of it.
We did. So by all means,
and I just wanted to
crazy.
say, like, it was good. I thought it was long. Like, it was obscenely long, to be honest. I was not a fan of the musical guests at all. And it wasn't because I don't like the music. They could have been my favorite bands, my favorite groups, and I still would have been like, this is not why I'm tuning in. I don't want to see concerts at this type of thing. It takes up a lot of time. I wasn't a fan of the celebrity presence. Again, I found it just kind of cheap, and they're all going for that Keanu moment now, which, just not for me. But I did like it. I was a little worried when 10 seconds in and 10 words in, Geoff Keighley was just like, Mr. Kojima is in the house. Welcome, everybody. It's the Game Awards. Mr. Kojima is here. That's how it went down. I was just like, oh my God, this is going to be the Kojima Death Stranding show. And it wasn't. It actually turned out I heard Canada more than Kojima the entire show, which I kind of got a bit of a
that is correct.
But it was a good show overall. I did like it. The production value was top notch, and we got to see a lot of games and whatnot. It's nice to see this type of thing grow year after year. I look forward to next year's. I don't care at all about the actual awards component of it. I don't give a shit about these, big sites' opinions or reviews as it is. So I could care less what a group of them has to say. But I think it was a good show overall, if a little bit long. But it had its moments of cheese, like they all do. I don't think you can have a game show of any kind without cheese. And it was there in abundance. But it also had some heartfelt moments, which I felt was weird. We're all tuning in to watch a bunch of games, and then all of a sudden we've got like tear-jerking moments of 10-year-olds making games about depression because their dad committed suicide when they were still in the womb. I'm just kind of like, holy shit! I wasn't prepared for kind of stuff like that, but I think that's to try and clean up the gamer image. It's a big dude bro society we're in here, and a lot of the outside world just views it as such and then quickly writes it off. Reggie said it best, man. Gaming is bigger than movies, bigger than music, bigger than TV. It is the biggest form of entertainment on the planet. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. And it's nice to see some of that lighthearted stuff and just let everyone know that we're not all a bunch of dude bros that with foul mouths and, that kind of stuff. So as much as it was unprepared and I don't tune in to have, my heartstrings tugged at, I thought that was kind of cool as well. So it was a good show. And I did like these two games from Sony. The first one there, God Hand, super crisp. I love the armor. Like the look of the armor and stuff was awesome. I have also heard it described as kind of like a slasher looter. And I absolutely love a good co-op looter, man. Like when I get into them, I just can't stop playing. They take up all my time for the good and the bad. So I thought that was really cool. I thought it was overacted, the voice acting a little bit. Like Gearbox is making this, which kind of blew me away the most because it came off very Japanese for me. Just the look of it and the voice acting involved came off very anime-ish. In my opinion, anyways. I could be totally off on that, but I was surprised that it was Gearbox doing it. It's nice to see Sony get some multiplayer stuff in their their exclusive side. This wouldn't be a first party. This would be second party officially, but it is still nice for an exclusive game to be multiplayer, so you can justify that PlayStation Plus outside of third-party games. And then Ghost of Tsushima, I thought looked really, really good. It didn't look as good as it did before. I'm not sure if that's the fault of Hellblade and God Hand, of course, just looking so crisp. But I thought Ghost came off. It was very orange. I know there's like a blazing sun and the color of the trees and stuff, but it just felt like drenched in orange, and the skin looked very video gamey to me. But very impressive. I liked it. It did come across as Assassin's Creed-y, which is another reason why I hope Assassin's Creed never goes to Japan. I don't. There was another game actually called Nakara.
Yeah, I
think
got that right here.
By the Chinese company. And that's another, like I know China and Japan aren't the same, my God, but it's like, samurai ninja-esque, that type of look.
Yeah, Nakara is called Blade Point.
So like we have other games that are hitting those settings and those types. We just had Sekiro last year. So I hope Assassin's Creed never goes there. I hope they continue to go to other places that we don't normally go, like old school London and, the rumored new Viking setting and stuff like I like what Assassin's Creed does, because they take us to places and settings that other games generally don't. Whereas Japan, it gets hit pretty often, I think. So I hope Assassin's Creed steers clear. These other games got it covered, man, because the combat in Ghost looks great. And for me, that is going to be the most important part. They could have the most gorgeous graphics, the prettiest cutscenes, 8 trillion leaves blowing around. If the actual slicing and dicing of these other dudes doesn't feel insane, I just can't get invested. Like, that's my biggest problem right now with Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fanatic, but the moment-to-moment combat in the Jedi there, the Fallen Order, it's not grabbing me like it has in some other games. So I'm having issues just getting really invested in it, because the actual combat, the guts of the game, they're not crying out to me to just keep me playing more. So this looks good, though. I do like it. It's gory. It's bloody. It's going to be mature. And I do like the leaves and everything else going around. I like seeing that kind of stuff, particles and everything on screen. God of War had a lot of them. This one does too. They're pretty games. I'm excited to eventually get to them when they come out, and they're at the lower tier for me. Like, used. I got a buddy that buys everything exclusive, and then when he's done with it, I pick them up from him. So when he's done, I'll look forward to grabbing these two as well.
Okay, well, listen, great points, man. Really, really fantastic points. I want to go to Dreadpool next on this. Dreadpool, you obviously saw the same thing that we've all done, and you obviously said what you had to say about the Xbox. What were your thoughts on getting some early peekage, if you will, for a PlayStation 5 launch game, but also getting some full-eye bird's view of Ghosts of Tsushima?
Oh, I was excited. Just the way that everything popped out. Like I said, after seeing the one game in these, I felt a little slighted towards the first game that we talked about, and I don't want to keep bringing it up, but I'm hoping that these graphics on these Sony games will up the ante, especially with the backwards compatibility, the way that the PS5 is supposed to enhance a lot of these games. Just the like you said, So Shitty said, the lot of orange, but it was beautiful. It had a little, not really cartoony. That sounds very bad, but it had a little softer feel. So I don't know if that was, yeah, but the graphics weren't as crisp. You know what I'm saying?
He was using a very rich color palette, kind of like what Gears of War does. Like, Gears can look realistic at times, but it's still a video game because the colors being used, you can tell. Yeah, I thought it was the same with that.
Yeah, the transition.
Yeah, so I just hope that they can. I mean, if that's a design, then I'm all for it. That's the way that they want to put out their game. That's their vision. So I don't want to change their vision. They're the artists. You know what I'm saying? So that's their paint. That is their project that they're doing. I do feel that they could. I mean, it was already badass when I first saw it. When they first teased it, it looked immaculate. And seeing the full trailer for Ghost was great. But I do hope that they clean it up more. Give us the visual that we want, and the gameplay, I believe, is going to be there. The other games, they look good. That one that we were talking about, Godfall, That reminds me somewhat of what is that game? Warface?
Oh, Warframe.
Warframe,
yes.
yeah.
Ironically,
Like,
Warframe shown here too. It's getting a space expansion.
Some kind of a pirate expansion. You go out there and you pirate guys.
That looked pretty cool because I tried getting into it when I first got it, and it just, I don't know, there was something about it. But ever since they keep on going back in there and making it better and better. I just got to sit down and have some time to get into that one. Especially
they totally reinvented the traversal. It's like a completely different game than when it launched. I didn't like it at launch either, but last time I played, I was blown away at the amount of content, the graphics, and just the traversal. Some of the best traversal ever in a game.
Yeah, they cleaned it up. Like I said, I played a little bit since they've done all their upgrades and updates to the game. I just haven't had time to get into it and actually experience it better. But it looks great. I'm excited to see what these games are going to look like when they actually launch with the 4K graphics, because we know that it's going to be true 4K for everything.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that we're seeing early iterations, and once we get the final product in our on our TVs from these boxes, I think that we're all going to be thoroughly impressed, and I think that we are going to be able to experience gaming in a way that we have probably never experienced it. And I'm not just talking about with just raw graphics. It's everything on the back end on both of these consoles that are going to be super important. The SSD, the basically that eliminates no loading. You're gonna go from loading up this at the home screen to playing the game, and that's going to be the end of the story. There's ray tracing. There's 4K 60. There's the potential of 120 F frames per second. It's madness. It's madness what we're going to experience.
It is, and 4K TVs are finally come down so much in price. Last year, I couldn't believe how cheap they were. That's when I got mine. Was just before that, but they'll be even cheaper. And a lot of these companies like Samsung and stuff, which they highlighted a bunch during the show, are well aware that gamers are a big market of these TVs, and they've started to bring in things like FreeSync into their models, 120 frame support, which they hit on. I also got a little bit of a one up there on the subliminal marketing by Xbox every time they had those QLED little commercials by fellow Canadian Linus there. It was Gears of War that was on the TV, and he's just like, when you want the best HDR and the best looking games, and God of War is just playing the whole time, or not God of War, Gears of War, sorry. Wow, they both look gorgeous. I can't be mistaken on that one, but it was a little bit of like subliminal marketing with Xbox on that part. I know that Xbox and Samsung have a partnership deal, but
yeah, Linus was there selling a new 60-inch at the Game Awards or something like that.
Yeah, the new QLEDs, which look absolutely insane. Like my roommate, he's got a QLED and it's stunning. It's got FreeSync on it and stuff. So when I play like Anthem on that TV with the FreeSync, it's a smoother experience than when I play on my bigger 4K. But I often play on his just for that reason.
Yeah, so that whole show literally was like a walking advertising just to get you.
Oh, it was. I mean, like it's all there to make money, obviously, and at least every commercial break was generally game oriented. Like I liked seeing all the Magic the Gathering. I'm a huge Magic player. I've been playing for 25 years, so I thought that was cool to see all the Magic stuff. The trailer was beautiful, and a couple anti-vape ads, whatnot. I mean, I had to look down in my pipe and see if it was the delicious green and not some acid I was taking when it came to those Stadia commercials, bro. Those Stadia commercials were out to lunch, man. They were crazy. I don't hate them, but man, are they going for the wild.
Yeah, that was the only way they can get into the system, into
just
the rewards.
They were trying to throw jabs too at the console. You notice when dude turned to he was like super big in the screen, like he flicked the console off the dude's.
There was a guy that was literally the couch that they were sitting on. It was like a couch human. His buddies were sitting on him while they played on this. I just, holy cow! Like I said, I double checked my pipe to make sure what was in there. It's hilarious. My God.
That is freaking hilarious. Listen,
idiot right now.
Well, listen, let me get Crispy Bomb. Crispy, I know you've been sitting there and you're probably banging your head against the wall because you want to jump in here, and we want to get your opinion on this. Obviously, we all had a lot to say about Microsoft for good reason, but not to be outdone. Sony showed off two really impressive titles. I think most people are going to be excited to play. One, of course, Ghosts of Tsushima looked magnificent. And it's something that I'm absolutely looking forward to. and of course the new PlayStation 5 launch title in Godfall just looks amazing. But before I get your opinion, and before I forget, because I don't like forgetting super chats, Sin Vendetta drops an additional $5 super chat. He said, "I will say that Microsoft looks so much better going into the next generation than they were going into this one. So far, so good." Yeah, absolutely. And our good friend Enrique from the amazing Basement Radio Arcade podcast drops a $5 super chat, and he says, "Ray tracing, 60 frames, console peasants." He's so stupid. I'm already there. PC Master Race, BitCloud knows, Ampri next. I don't know what that means, because I'm a boob, but yeah, that's funny, dude. Of course, we love Enrique, and if you don't know who he is, head over to the Basement Radio Arcade podcast. Check out his work over there. Those guys are amazing to listen to. But Crispy, let me get your opinion on this. What are your thoughts on what Sony brought to the table for the Game Awards?
Well, personally, Godfall is a big deal. I mean, we haven't seen a multiplayer exclusive from Sony in a long time. Like, and it could be just multiplayer. I hope it has.
I don't think it is, dude. I think it's gonna have a little bit of both, because they're known for that, Crispy.
Yeah, and I don't see them, sacrificing that. I will say this: in general, Geoff Keighley's biggest mistake was not putting Microsoft in the back half of that, because I felt like the entire crowd's air got taken right out of them. Like, they were just like, and that says something for, like, Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm very interested in. It might even get me to, think about getting a PS5, scrounging up the money somehow, because, it does remind me of the good old days of the Tenchus, and just the visuals were amazing. And I think it's going to look even better down the road. In general, Godfall has me more intrigued, only because of the multiplayer aspect. And, I hope that it truly is, a legit, AAA multiplayer, because we find all the time that PlayStation just all of a sudden, oh, here's a multiplayer, and you're just like, you just throwing this in here now. So it's very intriguing, and unfortunately Hellblade kind of just sucked the life right out of the whole place. And
it's just Xbox, bad for the show's pacing.
Yeah. I mean, they shouldn't have started so early with that. They really shouldn't have. They should have probably put it maybe right where Fast and the Furious was, because that was pretty sad. I mean, and here's the biggest thing about that Fast and the Furious game. Did you see when she jumped to the train, how horrible that looked? It was like, what are we
the character models look last
gen? It was awful.
Character model looked terrible. And you was like the only one they put like a little money into. It looked like for the character model. It was sad.
Yeah, that was a 360 game.
It was like it all went into the cars and the destruction and stuff, because those character models were inputted right off the 360 and PS3, man.
Yeah,
my God.
Movie. Didn't y'all think she was going to talk about the movie or something?
I thought they were going to show the 4-minute trailer that he was talking about.
No, they got to have that on a separate channel to get all that click money, baby. He just was there to tease it. It was a shill city. I understand that Vin Diesel's like a gamer. He actually had a game company, Tygon, I believe it was called.
Yes.
That's fine, but like, I don't need celebrities to come out and ride the back and the popularity of gaming. I think it's a cheesy look. Just get the developers and stuff. I think there's some charm to have an awkward developer up there stumbling over his words as he tries to excitedly tell you about his game. Like, I like that so much more than a professional celeb coming out and hawking what he's got on the side as well.
Well, it was bad too, because like Vin Diesel and that lady, like they literally told you that they were gamers like 3 or 4 times. Like
the way
they really wanted you to know. Like they didn't want any mistake.
She couldn't remember the full name of the game that they played.
Yeah.
I remember Ikimai Nakamura,
because they play so many,
and she came out very natural. Ikimai Nakamura, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in general, that's the thing. Like, you're gonna have that be the game before the announcement of the game of the year. It's just like, dude, come on, man.
Even the Ghost of Tsushima video, I think, would have ended the show better.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, definitely.
But what that game made me think about is how long it's been since we've had a Twisted Metal or a Vigilante 8. I mean, those two games, like when I could play those for hours upon hours, and I'm like, imagine like those games on such high end graphics and everything. Like, I think that would be amazing. I hope that would get me to buy a PS5 if Twisted Metal was exclusive again. I would buy it definitely for that.
We've had Need for Speed for a couple of years, story-wise anyways, trying to be the Fast and Furious. Now we actually have a Fast and Furious game. Maybe they'll do the franchise justice, minus those character models. My God. We got to hit up the internet and go wild. We'll have a Sonic situation. They'll go back, hit the drawing board, crank up so we have a movie-accurate Vin Diesel as opposed to whatever that low polygon count monster was.
It looked like a phone game.
It did. It was bad. Like his lip syncing was just really bad. It jumped out so much. Like after 3 hours of insane facial animations highlighted by Hellblade there, to end it with what they showed on those character models, I was kind of like, I almost wiping off my TV or wiping my eyes. Like, what just happened here? Again, checking the pipe.
Like the whole Hellblade release, like it just kind of made everything else after just look a little blurry, didn't it?
It did, to be honest.
And that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
It kind of skewed me into the rest of it because I was like, all right, we're back to live TV and it's not as crisp.
It's like,
if that's Ninja Theory, what is the initiative going to bring? The quote-unquote quadruple A with all the biggest names in the industry coming working there. What are they going to bring, man?
Yeah.
If they're not just sitting around playing checkers like the rumors say.
I love that they're playing checkers. That's great.
That intro to the Xbox reveal, before they started bringing the car and the characters, I was actually thinking that was going to be an initiative game that they were going to tease something with was going. That's what I was thinking at first.
I wouldn't be surprised if all those visuals that they were showing in that intro are actual like in-game graphics for stuff like that. That car they showed is what Forza is going to look like. When we saw the Chief on the precipice, that's what Halo is going to look like. I wouldn't be surprised because that Hellblade was jaw-dropping. It didn't look like a video game anymore. It looked like something you would watch. It was stellar.
Yes,
Ninja Theory's putting in work, man. I mean, they're dropping. This is going to be like I think the hugest pickup for Xbox Game Studios.
It was awesome of them to come out after showing the Grounded game, and they got heat for Grounded, right? Very cartoony. That was the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids-esque survival game. Yeah, and that was coming from Ninja Theory, which they showed at the XO, and people were just kind of like, "Oh, cartoon games! That's all it is. You buy them up and force their hand. That's what Xbox does." And then only a month later, they've come out and just kind of set the new standard for realism, which they claimed they were going to do. So that was nice to see from that studio, especially because they were taking a lot of heat since being acquired. To be honest.
Aren't you glad that
they're coming out swinging? I'm assuming there's more than 20 guys working on this one, on like the first game as well. This looks like a big game, probably all around.
Aren't you glad that they pushed out all the cartoony games on XO19 now?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yes. It seems like okay, now it makes sense that they pushed it out. Get it out of the way. Get all this stuff that we got going because we know what the gamers want, but we're gonna have to show these something. Let's get these ones out. And then we can show them the good stuff coming in that they.
We still had Ori, which looks like it's one of the most gorgeous games I've ever seen. It's another video game that just does not look anything like a standard video game. It's just graphics like you've never seen it. And it's arguably cartoony, but my God, is that
it's funny, Shady. I actually, you know what? I'm going to bring this back around because we're going to move off of the Sony topic and pick back up to two other Microsoft games that were shown. One of which, of course, was Ori, which I want you to get into. But Gears Tactics was front and center, which looked amazing. I cannot wait for that game. What are your thoughts on those two games shown off at the Game Awards on top of already what they gave us?
I thought they both looked absolutely spectacular. Ori, like I was just saying, it's just like in a league of its own for its artistic style. It looks so beautiful, so rich. The animations of the creatures chasing you down are over the top. And then above and beyond all that, the actual gameplay of Ori is insanely tight and rewarding. It's difficult, but when you get it and it's so good. It's just so good. So I'm looking forward to that. Awesome. I think it was March that one was coming.
Yes,
Ori?
March. Yes,
sweet. Like I love it, and it's always announced that that's coming into Game Pass as well. It's not a first party Moon Studios, but that is still going to launch in Game Pass for everybody at launch. So that's cool. And then Gears Tactics, I thought looked absolutely stunning. Like way more than what I thought the game was going to be. It looks like it's going to have its own awesome story. 40+ hour campaign.
Yes.
Good Lord, that's a long time. The graphics were awesome. It was grisly. There was gore everywhere. It had a lot of the cool fatalities, the finishings and stuff like that. I loved it. I loved it. Like, I enjoy that type of game. And now that it's all skinned up like Gears, which on its own is already a cover-based shooter, you're bouncing from cover to cover. It's just a different style of playing. I think it's awesome. I thought that the messaging at the end was weird and insanely fast. The splash screens at the end of the trailer were like a second and a half. And at the bottom, it said available in Game Pass, Steam, and Windows. So right after that was another splash screen that said you can, get some skin if you pre-order the game or play it on Game Pass Beta PC. They said Game Pass PC. So is there a difference between Game Pass and Game Pass PC? Is this thing coming to console at launch?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if it's going to be a launch console. And if it's not, that's very unfortunate. Like, a huge bummer for sure, especially because we can plug a mouse and keyboard into the damn Xbox. Like, it works. So I would like them to be a bit more clear as to just if this thing's coming out.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And then
they need to let us know.
If it's not, let's say, and it's going to be a while, if xCloud is up and running, they did say that anything in the Game Pass would be streamable. So I'm thinking at the very least, if you're a Game Pass member, you should be able to stream Gears Tactics to your console, which would be awesome, especially with that type of game. It's not going to be like, lag, if there's any, is going to make or break your turn-based game. It's not. So
No, it's not.
I'm not sure, but I would like some more clarification on if it's coming to console. I'm sure it will eventually, but if it's coming at launch, because it looked way better than I thought it was going to look, and I really, really want to play it. I'm hyped for that.
Yeah, no, real quick. And Crispy Bomb, I'm going to actually go to you first on this, because the last time we came to you at the end, and obviously you're a huge, and I mean, maybe not, the word huge isn't enough for you as what you consider yourself to be a Gears fan. What were your thoughts when Gears Tactic flashed on the screen?
I mean, my God, we've been looking for a different experience that still has a realism to it for Gears. This is going to get some people that have never thought about the game playing it. And, it's like they compare it to XCOM, something like that, which is a beloved game in the PC community. You know what I mean? So this is like Gears version. And Rod said it many, many times. This is kind of what Gears really is, the esque of it. It's very, it gives you that feel of the war involved. And, I'm more interested in the story than anything else. It looked incredible. I know it's going to, I hope it's coming to Xbox. We'll be able to play it on our Xbox.
They already, Rod Ferguson said it himself that it's coming to the Xbox One. So
yeah, hopefully
it's just a matter
sooner.
of when.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I do believe at the least, by launch of Series X, you should see it. But in general, I mean, it gets you hyped up, and even Ori, like, still every time they show that game, you're like, wow, man, that game just looks incredible. Just being a side scroller but having so much depth in it is just incredible. It's like it brings you back to like when you were playing like Sega and Nintendo, and you're like, man, how would these games look now? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what they did with this, and like So Shady said, it very crisp gameplay, and that's what I feel, they need to go.
It seems
for
snappy, right? Like very quick.
Yeah, and just the way like the fights and everything seem to go, it's very like it gives you that 2D to 3D kind of feel all at once, which I think like kind of tricks your brain, and I think that's why people are so attracted to it. But I mean, Gears Tactics, I just want to play the game. I don't even care how it looks. I just I know they're going to add to the story, and that's huge to me. So I'm looking forward to that, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fantastic side story. And what shocked me was a 40-hour campaign. Like, holy shit, are you kidding me? Like, okay, sign me up. Zemi Games, are you there, sir?
I'm always here.
Okay, excellent. Well, let me go to you next, because obviously, I think you're anticipating Ori and the Will of the Wisps. But man, not only does that game look good, but seeing Gears Tactics on a major event like that's not a Microsoft event, completely threw me for a loop. Wow, those two games look amazing. What were your thoughts?
Well, the Ori game, I think I mentioned this a little bit ago, but that game, it does kind of scare me a little bit. Because the big creatures like chasing you. I just,
you can't take the pressure.
Yeah, that. But the game looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's just breathtaking how good that game looks. Yes, it's cartoony, and it is a platformer, but it just looks so good. And it's coming to Game Pass, so I don't have to pay any money. I actually need to play the first Ori and the Blind Forest. I need to play that game hopefully here in the next few months. Just sometime before this new one comes out, because I definitely want to jump into that, day one whenever it releases to Game Pass. And then Gears Tactics, I am a really pretty decently big Gears of War fan. I've been playing them ever since the very first one dropped. But for the turn-based gameplay, for me personally, that is something, sometimes it works for me and sometimes it doesn't. It's just, you know what I mean? And so I don't know if I'll like it, but I'm definitely going to get it, whenever it comes to Game Pass. It definitely, from what I saw, it wouldn't have been a game that I would have went out and paid for, but because of Game Pass, I'll be able to play it and hopefully I really enjoy it. But like I said, sometimes those turn-based combat games, sometimes I really like them, and then sometimes they just don't do what I would want them to do. Okay. But I really, really like the cutscenes that it showed. I love Gears of War's story. That's one of my favorite things about a new Gears of War release is the story, the characters, what's happening in the world. And so with this having a 40-hour campaign, I don't even know if I'll be able to play it all the way through, but I'm going to try. Hopefully I can get addicted to the gameplay. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that as well.
Nice. Well, listen, BitCloud, let me get your opinion on this, dude, because obviously on top of what Microsoft showed off to start the show, they dropped these two nuggets, and they were big because Ori and the Will of the Wisp is going to be a big game. And of course, Gears Tactics is going to be possibly even a bigger game. What were your takeaways from both of these reveals?
Well, Ori's always been a pretty looking game, but it looked even better when they were showing the bosses in this new trailer for it. So it looked good. Gears Tactics, I would say I would take that over that Funko Pop game.
Yeah, well, of course, absolutely, 100%.
So that was good to see rather than that Funko Pop thing. But yeah, I thought that was okay. I'm not really, into that style of game, but it was cool that they have that there. But I would say Ori is definitely is a good way to end it for them in terms of their show. I don't think they had anything else after Ori, and
no, that was it. That was their load, if you will.
I want to know more about that Locust bad guy, that big baddie they had.
Yeah,
what,
he looked.
What
wow,
was that?
Man.
Who is that? And I hope a lot of those skins and characters get put into Gears 5 to be playable. Like that main guy with the spiked black hair and the one white tuft. I thought he looked pretty badass. Gears 5 is just lacking a lot of cosmetics that you can earn, in my opinion. Like that, the newest season, let's call it, or tour of duty just started. The cosmetics you earn in that are awesome, but in 3 months' time, you can only earn 500 iron in Gears 5. And every day and week, there's still cosmetics for your guns and characters that are iron only. So that's a huge bummer for me, man. I'm playing Gears 5, not like at the second, but I have been since this new thing came out, and it needs some new skins. And then to see this Gears Tactics trailer just bring out a whole bunch of new characters, I'd love to see them make the jump so we can play as them in the standard shooter as well.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, BitCloud?
Nah, that's fine.
Okay, no problem. And Dreadpool, why don't you bring this up from the rear? Watch our 6 and let us know what you thought about both Ori and the Will of the Wisp, as well as the Gears Tactics reveal. Rather.
We'll start with Ori. Ori looks phenomenal. Yet again, artistic style. That is the way that they intentionally made the game. So being cartoony and all that, I don't care. The game looks beautiful. They've done really good work on it. And Zemi, definitely play the first one.
Yes.
I did not listen to Randall Thor. I completely had not played it. I actually started playing it a couple weeks ago, and it is a wonderful game. Even though it's a platformer and some people don't like platformer, no, try it anyway. It is a wonderful game. I got sucked into it. So I have to, now that I've done working, I'm going to get back into it and try to do some more while I'm on vacation. But yeah, I want to hurry up and finish the first one. So when this one launches in March, I can jump into it. one of the other podcasters we were friends with, I can't remember who it was exactly, but he had one of the creators on his show and they were interviewing him. And he even said, we listened to what the people wanted. We listened to the fans. We made sure we listened to the negatives and the positives. So if they had suggestions, so they're trying to make this game even better. Even Microsoft
I think they were on. I think he was on BRAP. I think they might have been on a basement.
I want to say it was Invader.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
Invader locking it down. Good for him.
Yeah. He's been having a lot of good guests on. But
he's a good podcaster. His show is excellent.
Great. Yes, everybody on that show is great. Thank you, Indy. It was TXR. With
nice. Thank you for the save, my friend. Yes.
Yeah. But yes, even Microsoft said, hey, can we make this a 2-player, or Xbox, I'm sorry. Can we make this a 2-player game? They even said that they try to do it, not because they were told to. They weren't told to. They just wanted to see if they could do it. And they said that their model shows that it cannot be the way that they've designed their game, a 2-player game. They didn't feel like they were going to try to push it. And so they left it a single-player game. They actually put their heart and soul into the game. So, for the creators, I want to be able to support that, and
shady.
From what we played, it was a great game, so this next one is going to top it. And then we go to Gears Tactics. The 3/4 view is awesome. The clarity on this is unbelievable, so I'm not really a tactic style XCOM type of player. I've played some PC games that are like that, and I don't do so well. But when you do overcome, it's a great feeling. So to those that don't get into these kind of games, you should look into it. I mean, if it's going to be on Game Pass, why not try it out? Granted, it'll be on Game Pass for PC, and hopefully, eventually, it'll be on Xbox console. But yeah, you should. The way that the characters are designed, the gameplay looks really cool. It's a unique style that not everybody's into, but like I said, try it out. You might find something different there that you might actually enjoy. Plus, it opens up the lore more. It brings everything in and opens up more information for the background. These characters. You were talking about the guy with the white wisp on his hair. Who is he? I don't know, but you can get sucked into another game that's Gears, and it's not the same old game that everybody's complaining about.
Great point. Excellent point. Yeah.
It's just another Gears. Well, isn't it just another Mario?
Don't you say that.
How dare you?
But you see what I'm saying? Everybody's like, oh, it's this. Well, no, they're all different. If you're tired of that gameplay, that game style, then I understand you saying, oh, it's just another this. Just add another number to it, and there you go. Well, this is totally different. It's another unique perspective. Didn't we like Mario Rabbids? It was a different game.
Fantastic.
Totally different. It is still Mario, but it's not.
Also XCOM like this.
Yes. Yeah, and for those that actually like that game, you should probably actually try this one too, for sure, because yet again, XCOM, it's that style. So you may actually like this one. I mean, it's not cartoony and Mario, but it's Gears.
No, that's actually a fantastic point. And I got to tell you, like, we are, this has been an amazing show. We are closing in on the 2-hour mark. We have officially broken records on this show. Back-to-back breaking record days is as a content creator is just completely numbed me, like, emotionally, because I cannot thank you guys enough. We topped out at 375 people watching this morning show, which is just crazy bananas. And I honestly cannot thank you enough for that. The amount of super chat, the generosity that has come in today is overwhelming. And my God, I hope I didn't miss anybody, because even if you put $1 in there, you're going to get a big thank you from me, because no one owes me a dime. I do this out of the love of you guys and gals. I love this community. I love gaming, and I love the ability to come and talk about it. Sin Vendetta drops another super chat for $2. He says, how has Microsoft not acquired Moon Studios? That's a great question. As a matter of fact, our very excellent friend and also content creator known as the Indie Gamer, dropped a nugget of information that some people just apparently looked over. And he's saying the devs said that Moon Studios has another unannounced game that's in production at the moment as well. Holy shit. Breaking news on this store, because I did not know that. Let's get everybody out of here, because obviously it's Friday the 13th. We want to make sure that people get to where their destinations. And we'll start with, of course, Zemi Games. Zemi, thank you so much for being here. You also, you don't understand that you do this, but you bring the comedy aspect to this podcast, because you are actually a funny dude. I don't think that, and you actually know that, but you are very funny. But more importantly, you're a community guy. You are someone that cares about others. You help others. Your channel's amazing. And I enjoy what you bring to each show that you're on. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more importantly, check out your work.
Well, thank you so much, Boom. And it's always a pleasure coming back on this podcast, coming out of retirement, if you will.
Yes.
Like you were saying at the very beginning of the show, whenever you need help, just always throw me a message. I'm more than happy to hop on. If you guys enjoyed my opinions, definitely check me out on YouTube. I do a bunch of gaming content, gaming news, game reviews, unboxings, all sorts of things. I also do a bunch of Xbox tutorials. If you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's called Zemi Games. You guys can also follow me on Twitter. My DMs are always open. I always look forward to anyone sending me messages, wanting to talk about games or anything like that. So feel free to do that, and follow me on Twitter at Zemi Games as well. Thank you so much, Boom, and it's always a pleasure. Fantastic show. 372 viewers is what I saw was like the highest. It might have been higher than that, but it was a fantastic show.
It's like I said, it's unbelievable to me. BitCloud Gaming, you are a regular panel member, and we enjoy hearing your opinions each and every week. You also have something going on actually today at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that I think people should tune in, because it's probably going to be one hell of a show. Do me a favor and tell everyone where they can tune into that, but more importantly, follow you on social media.
Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations on the milestone. That is great. It's good to see you're doing good. Shows gets better and better every week, and it's always a pleasure to be here. I wanted to tell you guys, we got tagged literally during the show. I think it was Ghost of New Orleans. He was showing off Godfall gameplay. I put it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we actually got tagged the entire time.
That's awesome.
So it's in the DM, and everybody can see it. But it looks good. Looks good from there. But as far as the show is concerned, again, it's always a pleasure. Look forward to talking to you guys. I was a little late. Couldn't go to sleep last night. Obviously, excited. Anyway, if you guys like my opinion, you guys enjoyed what I had to say, you guys should check me out on youtube.com/BitCloudGaming. That's my YouTube channel. And of course, Twitter, you can find me at the same very name. Today, 5 p.m. Eastern, we'll be hosting the RGT podcast. We'll be going over everything. And you're definitely going to be in for a lot of positivity, let me tell you, because 2020 is looking to be amazing, for not just for Xbox or PlayStation, but really for everybody.
Just for gamers, as a whole.
Games have dropped, or games are going to be dropping next year. We got a lot of big games to look forward to. Even our classics that, which we're still getting geeked out with to this day, just because they're repackaged, but look even better with Resident Evil Remake. I mean, you got so much to look forward to. And, I can't wait to really talk about it. But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a show. And shout out to everybody again in the chat. Hit that like button for my good friend, Mr. Boom here. When I say he's one of the nicest dudes in this community, he really is.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
When I talk to this guy and I can tell that he's a genuine gamer, I do believe that he's a genuine gamer. When he offered me the position to jump in and be a panel member, you can ask him. I immediately said yes without even hesitation. So
that was great. It was a great moment for the show, because I enjoy having you on. You do bring a tremendous amount of passion and gaming knowledge, and I, of course, truly enjoy working with you each and every week. So, of course, if you're not subscribed to this dude's channel, man, what is wrong with you? Get out there, subscribe to him, and also check out his show at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on his channel. It's going to be one hell of a show. And of course, So Shady, I want to welcome you back, because without you, there always seems to be the edginess that this show is missing. Real quick, it just popped in. Michael Monkey Punch 77 with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much for being here. Monkey Punch, really appreciate the support. But Shady, the show was a little bit quiet without you. And of course, I enjoy working with you because you're the salty aspect of both the podcasts you happen to be on. And you know what? You unapologetically give your opinion, and I love that about you. Please tell everyone where they can fight with you on Twitter if they want, and possibly, and more specifically, lose to you on social media, and also what other shows that you're on.
Sounds good, Boom. I'm just upset that we couldn't go way longer. We could have talked about the show longer than the actual.
We could have
awards
gone
were
another
easily.
hour, I'm sure.
Like, there was just so much stuff we couldn't get to. That new mode and control. We go out in the expeditions.
Yeah, you know,
and
actually, I'm
loot and
bringing
stuff.
a lot
That
of
looks
this
fantastic.
forward, Shady. I'm going to bring a lot of this that we didn't touch on forward to Monday night's primetime gaming.
That's good. There's so much. There's so much. Like, I wanted to mention that there's one moment where they were showing a new game trailer, and it was a bunch of bunny rabbits with machine guns and grenades hopping around, singing some ridiculous song. And then it all of a sudden just became, they're like, oh yeah, it's a really, 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 really slow tactical shooter. Realistic. And I'm like, what? Where's the bunnies with guns game? You can't come out with something like that and then be like, no, we're the slowest of the slow tactical realistic shooter. I'm like, no, I want the bunny game with the machine guns and the grenade. I thought that looked hilarious. I was all on board with whatever the hell that was, and then it turned into something that was not. So I was kind of like, that was a weird reveal. I almost think that the bunny thing is going to have more hype than the actual whatever that 9 to 5 turns out to be myself. But yeah, there was so much to talk about, man. All in all, it was a good show. I was entertained. Thank you everybody for coming out. It was great to come back and talk games with you. It was a fantastic time with so much to talk about. The excitement was real. My God. You can find me here every Friday morning. You can also find me on our Monday night show, which is Primetime Gaming, and on Twitter at the Sesh Empire. That's one word. I am so shady on Xbox. Give me a follow. Hit me up. Message me. I like to interact. So if you message me, I will message you back. So if you want to, I'm there at the Sesh Empire. Thanks, everyone, again. Enjoy your weekend. Happy gaming.
Well, thanks so much for being here. As always, dude, love what you bring to each show. Dreadpool, the superhero that has more times than not bailed Mr. Boomstick's ass out of a ringer. Dude, I love what you bring to the show. Love that you're just a gamer and you enjoy talking about games. Couldn't have you on here enough. Really, like I said, a lot of fun to hang out with you. Please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more importantly, check you out on other avenues of social media.
Okay, well, first and foremost, before I do that, I definitely want to say that everybody needs to, I don't know, show some support for you, Mr. Boomstick. We need to hit that like button. I noticed that we're still not at 3K subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You will get a lot more information, a lot of entertainment from Mr. Boomstick and everybody that's in these panels that he supports. Now, for me, I want to say thank you for inviting me. I don't always save the day. This, like today, was pre-scheduled. I was actually invited, so don't everybody think that today was another day saving. So it's not always a hey, I need somebody. No. But
no, he does get invited because he's a good community member. But yeah, you have bailed me out more times than not, and I do appreciate it.
And like I said, anybody, especially for you, if I can, I will jump on and help out no matter where I'm at. I've done it at lunch break.
Yes, you have.
So you can find me on Twitter as Dreadpool with zeros and instead of anything else. On my Xbox gamer tag, it's all Dreadpool, all caps. And I haven't really done anything with Twitch, but it's the real Dreadpool with underscore in between the words. But other than that, yeah, I appreciate everybody listening to my opinions. Playing games, I prefer, we play with a community. Everybody knows new come. If you both play together, I mean, anybody else wants to jump in, we have on. So anytime someone's popping something, hey, Modern Warfare, Gears, Fortnite, they have their different things. So let's all get together and play. Not just let's play some games. And speaking of that, next week on Wednesday, Gloomy Hood's Gaming Beyond will be on that show.
Excellent. That's good to hear, because Wilmy runs a good program, and obviously you're going to bring you have the assets to bring to that particular show. So once again, thank you for being here. And last, and in no way least, of course, Crispy Bomb, dude, we love having you on this show. We love what you bring to each and every show that I've worked on with you. But you also have a bunch of stuff going on for yourself. So please tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, but more importantly, check out your other ways of producing excellent entertainment.
Oh, thanks, Boom. It's been a pleasure. I mean, what a day, to be on right after. You kind of just messaged me last minute, and I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to talk about some. But then it's like, bam, you got smacked in the face with a little Xbox news here. So, it was just, I woke up, I was raring to go. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And, you can find me on Twitter at Crispy Bomb. Xbox Live, Crispy Bomb 28. Just hit me up. I will game with anybody. I don't care if my friends list gets to 1,000. I mean, I will conversate with you. I will talk it up. Let's just play some games. If you want to learn about Gears, I can help you with that. And also Saturday night, next podcast. This week we're not doing CCC. Hopefully the following week, and then Retro Renegades on Tuesday night.
Nice. Well, listen, a lot of work that you're doing. Interacting with the community is fun, and you obviously enjoy it. Of course, I want to thank everybody again for being here. Record-breaking day once again. The generosity shown today was unbelievable. And just to make a quick announcement for next Friday's show, it's going to be a special show. And Mrs. Boomstick and I have been tucking away these super chats. And we are going to be donating $300+ worth of digital gift cards and physical gaming-related items that I'll be mailing out to you for the Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick Christmas show. We do this every year for our way of, giving back to the community. I'd love to give $1,000 worth away, but we are going to give at least minimum $300+ worth of digital cards to wherever you like. It doesn't matter what flag you fly. If you win and you want a $25 Amazon card, I'll get you that card. But we will be picking winners all through the show. I haven't finalized the guest list. It's going to be, we know that, of course, So Shady and BitCloud are going to be a part of that. But I do have some other special guests lined up for the show. And, of course, everyone that wins will be getting a physical prize of some sorts. I will be mailing that out before Christmas. It's going to be 10 a.m., obviously Friday, and it's just our way. As more so, Mrs. Boomstick really kind of pushed the issue here to get this done, and the amount of money to get done to be given away, simply because we are absolutely grateful that you have accepted me into the community, but more so her as well. And it's just, again, it's our way of saying thank you for the outstanding support. So listen, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. Have fun gaming on no matter what flag you fly. Treat others how you want to be treated. And more importantly, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. And if you live by those rules, I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. Once again, thank you for being here, and we will see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. Take care,
Leave a
everyone.
like on your way out and a comment. Let us know how you thought about the Game Awards show last week. I'd love to read about it.
Yes, actually, well, good on you for saying that, because I always forget. Hit that like button and also leave a comment. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Everyone have a great day.
Later.